Okay, it is time to play Pick Six on the game plan. And this week, we are taking a look at the 6 most overrated players in the draft with Believe's Joe DeLeone because he's the draft expert. Joe, welcome back to the show. Are you ready to play a little overrated Pick Six?
Of course, and could not be a better topic. We're right around draft time, and man, we got to cut through all the craziness that's going on.
For sure. Let's start off with the number 1 player on your list. I would say there's not really a level of different overrated players because there's some pretty good names that are on here. But let's start with the first one. Is Chop Robinson. Why does he make your list?
Yeah, right now, Chop Robinson, and I think throughout this whole process, especially after his combine performance, has been billed as this late first-round pick. Now, he tested tremendously well. He ran a really good 40 time. I think that he is more suited as a situational pass rusher in the NFL rather than a full-time edge rusher. Could he turn into an every down edge rusher in a few years? Sure, but right now he is not worthy of that first-round selection that some people are saying he should be.
I love the logic. All right, number 2, Marshon Neal.
Yeah, I haven't really been able to get the whole hype for Marshon Neal. I think that I understand that there is a high ceiling to him. I see that this is a prospect who has got the length, he's got the power, he can defend the run pretty well. But for me, he's just way too raw to consider him to be worthy of a top 100 pick. It's going to take some time for him to actually come to fruition. If I was going to bank on a more traitsy pass rusher, I would go with Jalix Hunt from Houston Christian instead.
It depends on the systems. Listen, you could draft a player, but if it's the perfect system, the perfect fit, they can excel. But that's why, we are all the draft experts until they get on the field in the summer for preseason. All right, the next one on your list is Marshon Lloyd. Why does he make the most overrated players in the NFL draft?
He has been billed as the biggest sleeper amongst the running backs, the guy that's going to surprise everybody. But if you pay attention to what he did during his time at USC, especially this last year, all of his good games were against their worst opponents. All of his worst games came against the best teams that they played, and he was non-existent. I also think it's important to know that oftentimes when facing a light box, his yards per carry average was one of the lowest amongst some of the top running back prospects in this class. So I understand that he's got great long speed, but his change of direction, his strength, his ability to run through tacklers, I think he is more worthy of going somewhere on day 3.
A very popular name pops up on your list, and I have to really agree with you here. J.J. McCarthy came out of nowhere, but he makes your list. And just give me your insight as to why you think J.J. McCarthy is an overrated player for this draft.
I don't think that J.J. McCarthy is necessarily not worthy of getting picked in the first round. And I think that at the beginning of this process, he to me fit the description of a really traitsy, athletic quarterback that has some potential, but doesn't really have the reps under his belt as a passer and the situations of difficulty that some of these other guys have. But this has been just a balloon effect of how much his draft stock has increased over the course of this season. I think that there is a path for him to be successful if he goes to the Minnesota Vikings. I just think that because he's so boom or bust, he could be a bit overrated because we're billing him to be, some are saying, the second best quarterback in this class, and I just do not see that.
Jeremiah Trotter Jr., I think we all can remember watching his dad play in the NFL, but why do you believe Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is an overrated prospect?
Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is a lot smaller than his dad was, and then also is a bit of a throwback in his capabilities for a linebacker for what the NFL is looking in today's game. He does not have the sideline to sideline capabilities, nor the instincts or the vision to be a full-time starting inside linebacker, but we'll have to see if he can pan out. There's other guys that are far more gifted, like Junior Colson, like Edgerrin Cooper, like Tyrese Knight from UTEP, that I'd much rather bet on.
All right, Joe, this has been a very special Pick Six, and I love all of the insight. Have to encourage everyone to go check out all of his NFL draft content on Believe. Let's finish up with DeAndre Sweat. Why does he make this list for you?
DeAndre Sweat was a really big name throughout this college football season, especially his presence was definitely felt, and he is a massive human being. We saw at the Senior Bowl especially how powerful and strong he is. I just do not see much pass rush upside. I see somebody who could be a really, really good run defender, but is only worthy of being on the field for 2 downs at a time. I just don't have any evidence to say that I think he could be a fully used defensive tackle in the NFL.
Thank you so much for all the information and for joining us on the show once again, Joe DeLeone.
Thanks for having me.